Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is now week 10 in the NFL, so we're back with my weekly NFL predictions. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my week 10 NFL predictions. So, as always, we start with the previous week recap, and didn't start off so super hot, but we got there in the end. So, the Jets beat the Texans. I just don't understand what they are right now. Falcons beat the Cowboys. Cowboys are kind of in free fall a little bit. The Bills beat the Dolphins. Bengals beat the Raiders. Chargers beat the Browns. I'm not sure why I picked the Browns to win that. I thought Jameis was a little bit... I was kind of riding on that Jameis high a little bit. Titans beat the Patriots in overtime. That game could have gone either way, and I said that last week. So, Commanders beat the Giants. Panthers beat the Saints. Also, could have gone either way. Ravens beat the Broncos. Eagles beat the Jaguars. Cardinals beat the Bears, which, man, Bears got a reality check for sure. Lions beat the Packers. I think Lions are the best team in the NFC, in my opinion. Rams beat the Seahawks in overtime. My Seahawks just could not catch a break. On my birthday, too. Like, you couldn't just given me one, Seattle. Anyway, Vikings beat the Colts, and the Chiefs beat the Buccaneers in overtime. I think, in my opinion, whoever got that ball in overtime in Chiefs-Buccaneers was going to win that game. But 10-5 on the week. Still pretty good. And we are 84-53 overall. So we are, plus 31. So not too shabby at all. And now we are over to Rogene's NFL Top 5 Power Rankings for the week. This one's going to be a little controversial. So I'm going to say this at the very beginning. It's a power ranking. It's my power ranking. So you can be angry, but that's going to be okay. So at number 5, we have a tie. We have the Eagles and the Steelers. And the reason we have the Eagles and the Steelers is because both these teams are really good, but they have flaws that I just can't overlook. For the Eagles, they don't play four quarters of football, and it's very apparent. And I don't think the 4 teams that I have ahead of them, they would beat 9 times out of 10, in my opinion. Same with the Steelers. Their offense is the only reason why I don't put them higher, in my opinion. I think the Steelers' offense just leaves a little bit to be desired at certain points. I still like both of these teams, and I think if they put it all together, and just depending on which weekend that they play, I still think these teams are really good. Number 4, I have the Ravens. I still think the Ravens are still really good. They definitely manhandled the Broncos, and I expect them to continue being good. I think they just need to show up for every single game, every single week. So, yeah, I got the Ravens at 4. Number 3, I got the Bills. I really like what the Bills are doing right now. The Miami game, I know it was a in-division game, so it was, a rivalry game, so it was a little bit closer than I would have liked. But my only problem with the Bills is their offensive play calling, I just don't agree with a lot of the time. So I think if they can fix those issues, I think this team is going to be very, very good. Number 2, controversially, I have the Chiefs. And the only reason I moved the Chiefs down is just because I am so freaking high on the Lions. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC. And I think they're the best team in the league at the moment. They are playing extremely good football. They are playing extremely clean football. I think Jared Goff, with his very minimal turnovers, is very good for this team. And I think their 2-headed backfield is tremendous. And I think that is the Zadarius Smith signing kind of puts them over the top for me. If they make it to the Super Bowl and Aiden Hutchinson is able to come back, we're going to have a good Super Bowl this year. And the teams that are on buys this week are the Green Bay Packers, the Cleveland Browns, my Seattle Seahawks, and I almost said Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. And now we're moving over to Thursday Night Football. It is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. So for the Bengals, they just signed Khalil Herbert, and I think they had a solid week from Chase Brown last week. So I'm not really sure if this Khalil Herbert signing moves the needles too much for me, but I still like what what the Bengals are doing. But I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure if this moves the needle at all because I still think their defense is subpar. I think they still have a lot of improvement that they should have made before the trade deadline, but it is what it is. And I think T. Higgins, they need him back badly still, especially against quality teams like the Ravens. So we'll see this week how they do, but he's still listed as questionable, so we'll see. And I think their defense still gets beat way too much. I mentioned it a couple times already. I just think their defense gets beat too much, and I'm just waiting for them to figure it out, be able to put it all together. As for the Ravens, I think they got back to winning football with Derrick Henry. I think by now, they should know what the formula it is to win. So they need to figure that into their offensive game plan and do what they need to do. And especially their defense, I think their defense is starting to put it together, especially the Broncos. The Broncos are really frisky, and I think the Broncos definitely took a step down. But I still think that this defense can be very, very good. And they just signed Tre'Davious White. Honestly, that doesn't move the needle a lot for me, just because Tre'Davious White, he's had 2 injuries in the past 2 years, and one of them was a season-ending injury. So I don't know. I'm just not sure what he got left. So we'll see. I'm ready to be proven wrong. I do have the Ravens winning this game. I got the Ravens 41, Bengals 34. The reason I got the score so high is because Bengals offense is really good, Ravens offense is really good, and both these defenses let up a lot of points. So I definitely got the Ravens in this one. Moving over to our Munich game, we have the New York Giants at the Carolina Panthers. And I'm sorry for the city or country of Munich. This is a absolute trash can game. But we got the Giants. So I think they had a quality game from Daniel Jones. I think he made very minimal mistakes last week. But I don't know. I still don't see it. I think he's serviceable at times, but there's certain times where I just don't know why the Giants keep riding with Daniel Jones, but it is what it is. And I still think their running back Tracy he's still serviceable, but still, I think there are upgrades, but I think this team needs to, rebuild. And I'm just not sure if they're going to do that. Their defensive line still needs Thibodeau back, and I think once they get Thibodeau back, I think this team is, especially on defense, is going to be phenomenally better. As for the Panthers, I think their team plays a lot better when there's almost no pressure, where they almost don't even have to try. So I think if they can just play for fun and just kind of let loose and run an offense and defense that is just, flying to the football, I think this team's, still bad, but better than I don't know, better than not, I guess. But I think they need to continue feeding Chuba Hubbard. He's still one of the brighter spots on their team. And I think if their O-line can show up, I think this team's okay. But I still think the Giants defense is going to manhandle the Panthers. I got the Giants 27, Panthers 10. This one could go either way, but I definitely don't think the Panthers are going to put up many points against this Giants defense. Moving over to our early window game on Sunday, we have the New England Patriots at the Chicago Bears. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. So the Patriots, Drake May, I think he's showing his young age. And the reason I say that is because, especially with their awful offensive line, there's certain throws that he makes that are just, throw it away, young guy, or he needs to put a little bit more on a ball. And I think he'll get there in time, especially just as he gets more reps under his belt. But that's okay, and I'm okay with him getting these bad throws out, getting that experience. So I say keep riding with Drake May. And yeah, I think just with no run game, the awful offensive line, it's hard. It's going to be hard to get wins in this league for the Patriots. As for the Bears, I think DeAndre Swift was shut down last week, and that was a huge reason why Caleb Williams was under as much pressure as he was last week. But the defense, they couldn't stop the Cardinals. I was watching a couple of the Cardinals drive last week, and The Cardinals were just giving it to James Conner, and he was just running it straight down the middle, down the Bears' throat. And they could not stop it a single time. And I think they gotta figure that out. They need to fix their defensive scheme in order to stop the runs from happening. Their linebackers need to play better, in my opinion. But I don't think you can ask Caleb, at least for now. There's a reason I put "yet" at the end of this sentence. You can't ask Caleb to sling it 40 times and expect to win. He needs a run game. He needs the defense to help him. And if they can get quality offensive line play, which I know is difficult for this team, I think this team can be decent. But yeah, it's tough for sure. I definitely have the Bears winning this game. I got it being a closer game than I would like, but I got the Bears 20, Patriots 19. Our next game is the Buffalo Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. So for the Buffalo Bills, like I said, I need them to fix their late game offensive play calling. There are certain opportunities where I think they need to just run the ball. And if the run game is not working, dink and frickin' dunk. Stop going for 20-yard bombs. Stop going for deep post routes. I need them to just dink and dunk, just get the first down and just work the clock. And they just haven't figured out how to do that yet, or they just aren't doing it. It's just really frustrating watching this Bills team sometimes, because I know they can do it and I really, really want them to be able to do it, but they're just not doing it. So I'm hoping they figure it out before they play the Chiefs in the playoffs. I think they need to see a little bit more in the run game. Cook, he just did not have the yardage that I would have liked to see from him last week, which I get. You have Josh Allen, so you kind of don't need the run game at certain times. But I think once you start going against those more quality opponents, especially next week, we'll see. I'm still worried about this Bills team. Keon Coleman has a wrist injury. I'm not sure how big of a story this is. Might be a non-story, but Keon Coleman, wrist injury. We'll see if this hampers him very much. As for the Colts, I could have told you this. Joe Flacco is not the long-term answer. I think you need to go back to Anthony Richardson before his confidence gets shot even more. I understand that he only completes, 10 and fewer completions a week usually, but I chalk that up to your offensive scheme. I don't think you guys know how to use him. I genuinely think you need to start running a similar offense to what the Ravens run, because you have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is still a quality back in this league. Get the RPO going, and I think it will open up a lot more opportunities for Anthony Richardson. And like I said, dink and dunk. Dink and frickin' dunk. Get the ball to your playmakers and just let him get comfortable. It's his second year. He was injured basically I would say about 3/4 of last year. Give him an opportunity to show you what he's got. I still don't think the potential of this team is bad. I still think this team can be decent. But yeah, like I said, I think this team has the potential, but I just don't think they have all the right pieces yet. I still think that they need they need more pieces on that offensive line. I still think that they need a couple more weapons for Anthony Richardson, but it is what it is. As of right now, I got the Bills winning this one. I got the Bills, and I don't think this one's going to be very close. I got the Bills 28, Colts 17. Our next game is the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. So for the Broncos, I just dislike this team's offensive play calling altogether. In my opinion, because I'm an Oregon Ducks fan, I've seen Bo Nix. I know what Bo Nix is good at. They need to go look at what he was really good at in Oregon and incorporate a lot of those things into this team. And I just don't think that they've done that, at least from my eyes. I don't think that I think they're trying to morph Bo Nix into what Sean Payton wants him to be, as opposed to taking Bo Nix and making his formula, like what he's good at, and making that what this team can do. And I think if they can do that, I think this team is going to be extraordinarily better than what they are right now. Excuse me. And I think if they feed Javonte Williams this team is going to be phenomenally better because it gives pressure off of Bo Nix. It gives pressure off of a lot of the defense. And I think this team has so much potential. And I really like this young Broncos team. But I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to put it together. As for the Chiefs, it was a vintage Patrick Mahomes game last week, and I knew as soon as they flipped that coin, me and Baker, we were on the exact same page. As soon as they flipped that coin and the Chiefs won the toss, I knew the game was over because Mahomes does what Mahomes does. Travis Kelce, he went for his first 100-yard game, and I think the whole season, which I expected. I think this team does whatever they need to do to win. If they need the defense to step up and carry them for the win, they'll do it. If they need Patrick Mahomes to step up to carry them for the win, they'll do it. If they need Kareem Hunt to step up to win the game, they'll do it. This team is just, there's a reason they're 8-0. It's just very hard for an opposing team to be perfect in every single spot in order to counter what the Chiefs have decided to be good at for that week. And it's very weird. So I got the Chiefs winning this game. Excuse me. I got the Chiefs 27, Broncos 20. I told you guys I'm getting over a cold, so pardon me. But don't forget this, all right? I got this game being a trap game. I think the Chiefs might overlook the Broncos and be looking towards the Bills next week. So this is a trap game. Don't overlook the Broncos this week, Chiefs. So we'll see on this one. Our next game is the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. So for the Falcons, I love the potential of this defense. I think they have a lot of really good pieces. They're still a relatively young team. I think they're 13th or 14th youngest in the league. So I really like the potential. I think they have a lot of good pieces, like I said. So I like what I'm seeing. I think they definitely, especially from what I saw last week, I really like Bijan out in the passing game. I think if they can incorporate him even more, I think it will just continue to open up this offense for a lot of the good wide receivers that they have. But I also think they need to figure out how to get Kyle Pitts more involved. Do I think Kyle Pitts is, the best tight end in the league? Maybe not yet. Maybe he'll never get there. But I think giving him the opportunity is better for them to figure out what he's capable of. Excuse me. As for the Saints, 1, 2, 3 rebuild. It's over. They traded Marshawn Lattimore. I don't think they should have re-signed Kareem Hunt. I think they should have let him walk. I think they also should have traded Chase Young. This team started off 2-0. They fired their head coach. They are on a 7-game losing streak, and I expect them to continue to free fall. This team is just not very good. They had a lot of great pieces, but it's over, in my opinion. I think the New Orleans Saints are done for the year. I would not be surprised if they lost out and they get that number 1 overall pick. So very, very disappointing for the Saints. Kamara went off last week, but they still lost. Man, I think that's tried and true for what this team is currently. And I think, especially without Chris Olave, I just don't think this team has a true number 1 wide receiver. I'm not sure if Chris Olave will be playing this week. If I'm Chris Olave, I'm sitting out. I'm sitting out because it's just not worth it right now. It's not worth putting your body on the line every week for a team that is just not good, and they know they're not good. They traded away one of their best defensive players. I got the Falcons winning this game. I got the Falcons 30, Saints 20, but also this is a trap game. I know teams that fire their head coach mid-season. The next week they come out with a burning hot passion and they want to, just manhandle the next team that they play, just get all their anger out. So Falcons, be careful. Trap game for sure. Our next game is the San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for the 49ers, they're fresh off a bye. I like that for them. So they were able to get a little bit healthier, and we'll see what this team's able to do now. I think with the Christian McCaffrey returning from injury reserves, that doesn't mean he's going to be playing this week, but he has the potential to return to the roster, like to go back to practice and practice with the team. So we'll see. I'm not sure when he'll be starting again, but Yeah, we'll see. I think they need to get back to running the ball. I think if you're asking Purdy to have to sling it 30 plus times every single week, it's just not a recipe for success, especially without Brandon Ayuk. Debo's been banged up this year. I think Kittle's still been active for the most part. It's just really tough to determine what this team still has because they have a lot of injuries. So we'll see. As for the Buccaneers, a very similar situation with all the injuries for the Buccaneers, in my opinion. It was definitely a hard loss last week. A lot of people were saying that they should have gone for two. I think if you had gone for two, Mahomes would have just driven them down the field 40 yards to kick the game-winning field goal, in my opinion. I think, like I said about the Chiefs, they will do exactly what they need to do to win. And it is what it is. But I would have gone for two, just because I would have rather lost because my defense couldn't hold them than going to overtime and never getting the ball back. It is what it is. I think they need to establish the effing run game. I think they have a running back by committee on this team, in my opinion, but they just didn't get anything from the running backs last week. And I get it. The Chiefs' defensive line is tremendous at stopping the run, but still, I think they need to figure out the run game going forward against other teams. I think, and in my opinion, Baker just won't let me not believe in this team. I love what Baker Mayfield is made of. He is just he always feels like the underdog, and you always want to root for the underdog, and it just feels really, really good seeing him win. So I got the Niners winning this one. Unfortunately, I got the Niners 31, Buccaneers 27. My friend Mike, there you go, buddy. Our next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Washington Commanders. This is going to be a really good game. I'm really, really excited for this game. So for the Steelers, they are also fresh off a bye. So able to get a little healthier, patch up a couple of their wounds, and we'll see. We'll see what this team's got. I think they need Najee Harris to play like he did against the Giants, and especially the Giants D-line. They're nothing to sneeze at. So I think if Najee can get quality reps and quality production like he did against the Giants, I think his team has a lot of potential to be really, really good. And as long as you don't ask Russ to do too much, I think you're going to be just fine. Just fine. As for the Commanders, I think they're also a running back by committee. I think they have about 3 running backs that they go through, and also Jaden Daniels runs as well. And I think it's working for them. I think this team really believes in Dan Quinn. I saw a report that said that a lot of teams told their agents, a lot of players told their agents that they wanted to come to the Commanders. I love that. I love that they got rid of their toxic owner, and this team is kind of thriving now. I think Dan Quinn is exactly what this team needed. He's also what the Cowboys needed, but that's a story for another day. This team is just really, it's like a breath of fresh air for me. I think Jane Daniels, has Offensive Rookie of the Year in the bag at this point. I love what he's doing. I think this team thrives for him, thrives for Dan Quinn, and I really like this team. Upset alert, I got the Steelers winning this game. I got the Steelers 24, Commanders 20. I'm actually not sure if this is an upset pick. I don't remember what the line is for this game, but I got the Steelers in this one. Our next game is the Minnesota Vikings at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Jacksonville, oh man. All right, hold on. We'll start with the Vikings. I think Sam Darnold, he needs to take care of the football, man. Like I've said in the past weeks, Sam Darnold is a game manager. He is 1,000% a game manager, and he's not awful, and he's not bad. He is par, in my opinion. I think there is still room for this team to be better, but I think this team, if he can just be the game manager, be par, I think this team can definitely make the playoffs. I think their offensive line needs to step it back up. And also Aaron Jones step it back up. I think they had a lot of quality play, but when they lost to the Lions, it kind of was a shot to their confidence a little bit, and they started to regress just a little bit. And I think if they can return to the form before they played the Lions, I think this team could be really good. I really liked what I saw in the second half, their adjustments that they made. I really liked seeing that. So I'm not down on this Vikings team by any means. So keep it up, Vikings, please. As for the Jaguars, I really, really thought they would have fired Doug Peterson by now. And I'm not asking for his job or anything. I'm not a Jacksonville fan. I genuinely don't care. But I don't understand why they kept him. I think you're going to kind of be in free fall if you lose this week too. So we'll see. We'll see what they got. I think there are so many needs on this team, and I'm just not sure Trevor Lawrence is the guy, man. I'm not sure anymore. I was definitely high on him coming out of college. His first year, we could chalk that up to Urban Meyer, I guess. But it might have just been an example of what Trevor Lawrence actually is. I don't think I hate to say it, but we might have to start having the bus conversation on Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. We'll see. But like I said, this team has a lot of needs. I think offensive line is a huge need for this team. I think a new offensive coordinator is needed for this team. So, like I said, we can start having the conversation about Trevor Lawrence being a bust, but we'll see. Because, I don't know. He's been in 2 offenses, and he's only been good 1 year. We'll see. I got the Vikings for sure in this one. I got the Vikings 30, Jaguars 20. I just don't think there's a prayer in hell for Jacksonville this week. Starting with our late window, we have the Tennessee Titans at the LA Chargers. So for the Titans, I need Tony Pollard to play like he did last week every single week. Tony Pollard was, will I say he was tremendous? He was very, very good. And I just think that's rarer to see from him. But I think if he has that potential, they need to feed him the ball, get him the ball, and he needs to have that quality running game every single week in order for this team to be successful. I think they need to figure out how to get Calvin Ridley the ball. I think he's the best wide receiver they got on this roster now that D-Hop is gone. And I don't know. In my opinion, I like this team at the beginning of the year, but as of right now, I'm kind of lower on the Titans than I thought I'd be. I think their defense is ass cheeks, and especially against the good teams, against good offenses, which it is what it is. I just don't. I'm not high on this Titans team anymore. I'm not sure if I ever was high on them, but there's so many holes on this team, and I just genuinely think they need to rebuild. I'd honestly tank for a quarterback at this point, but I don't think there's any good quarterbacks. I don't think there's any great quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. As for the Chargers, I think it was the return of the old Justin Herbert that we saw. He played extremely well. He was able to sit in the pocket, even with a with a less than great offensive line. And I think he was slinging it like he usually does. And I really, really like that from Justin Herbert. So I hope we continue to see that as this offense continues to evolve into what Jim Harbaugh wants this offense to be. I think they still need to continue to have a balanced offense, though, with J.K. Dobbins. Keep running the ball. Keep getting the pressure off of Justin Herbert. And I think this team is going to be very, very good. I think they can be very, very good. I love this defensive scheme a lot. Jim Harbaugh is a very good defensive schematic guy, in my opinion, and I really like what this team is made of. Do they have all the right pieces? No. And I think if they can get a couple more wide receivers, if they can bolster that offensive line a little bit more, if they can improve the secondary just a little bit, I think this team can get up there to, battle against the Chiefs. I got the Chargers winning this one for sure. I got the Chargers 28, Titans 20. I'm not sure if the Titans have a prayer in this one, but who knows? The Chargers always Charger. Our next game is the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, man, did you guys see what they did at the trade deadline? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the Eagles first. So, for the Eagles, I love Saquon Barkley in this offense, man. Saquon just looks so comfortable. He's doing it all. But I will say, be careful, Philadelphia. Be careful. Do not get him injured. If he gets injured, this team will be awful. I guarantee you, this team will be awful if Saquon Barkley gets injured. I think their defense, they just need to show up for 4 quarters. And I know Jacksonville, they kind of were taking just some weird shots last week, and that's how they were able to get some of their points. But I think if the defense shows up for 4 quarters, I think if Saquon stays healthy and Jalen Hurts makes no mistakes, I think this team can make it to the NFC Championship game, in my opinion. It's kind of exciting to watch. Now let's talk about the Dallas freaking Cowboys, man. So Dak's out for several weeks. They said it was a hamstring injury, and then on the broadcast they showed like some cuts on his hand, and I'm just like, so what's the injury? Is it actually a hamstring? Is it his hand? What's happening? And I watched a couple of sports shows this week, and they were talking about how he's a quarterback. He's not even a mobile quarterback that much, so he should just be able to power through a hamstring injury. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if how bad this injury is. So it is what it is. We'll see how this one goes. I think the Cowboys and I'm not trying to take shots on the poor guy, but I think the Cowboys blew a 4th round pick on a 7th round prospect in the wide receiver that they got. I'm not sure what Jerry Jones is doing. I don't think wide receiver was a need on this team. I think running back was a need. I think maybe offensive line was a need on this team. I think defense, maybe a linebacker was a need on this team. I just don't know. I don't know why they did that. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm kind of flummoxed. I think it was a horrible selection, in my opinion. I think they said Micah's likely back this week. I'm not sure if it matters, if they're not going to be able to put up a lot of points, but who knows? Cooper Rush was able to keep them afloat last time. We'll see if he's able to do so now. But I got the Eagles in this one. I got the Eagles 31, Cowboys 23. Yeah, I just genuinely don't know what the Cowboys are doing. Our next game is the New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals. So for the Jets, I think it was a great defensive game last week. I just need their defense to show up like they did last week, and I think this team can be very, very good. Just because I think they have all the right pieces. I genuinely do. I think they have all the right pieces. They just need to put it together. I think a mistake-free Aaron Rodgers is exactly what this team needs. I really like what they're doing, but they need to keep Breece Hall involved. I don't care if it's in the passing game. I don't care if it's just running the ball. Get him involved. He is a dynamic playmaker, and I really like what Breece Hall incorporates into this offense. So keep having a balanced attack for sure. As for the Cardinals, I think they just need quality O-line play for this team to be good. I'm actually really shocked at how good the Cardinals are this year, just because they always feel like little brother. They genuinely do. The Cardinals always have just felt like the little brother in the NFC West, and every once in a while they have a really, really good year. But in my opinion, if they can get good offensive line play, I think this team is going to be super good. I think James Conner, especially last week, just seeing the offensive line bully the Bears' defensive front was phenomenal to watch, because James Conner was just getting free 7+ yards every single time he was carrying the ball. And do you know how demoralizing that is to a defense? I think if they get that every single week, this team is going to be hard to stop, and it's going to be so annoying having. As a Seahawks fan, I'm gonna hate it anyway. So Marvin Harrison Jr. I still think they need to get him more involved. He's your 1st round pick. I think he had 5 targets last week, only caught 2 of them. I just need you guys to figure out more ways to get him involved. Maybe do some jet sweeps. Maybe, I don't know, pitch it to him. Figure out more ways to get him the ball. I'm not sure if running him like a Deebo Samuel is necessarily good, especially he gets banged up a little bit. But we'll see. I like Marvin Harrison in this offense. I think if they can get like maybe a good number 2, I think this team can be a lot better for sure. And just like I said with mistake-free Aaron Rodgers, mistake-free Kyler Murray, this team is gonna thrive in my opinion. I got the Cardinals in this one just because I'm higher on the Cardinals right now. I got the Cardinals 27, Jets 20. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets won this one, in my opinion. But as of right now, I got the Cardinals for sure. Moving over to Sunday Night Football, we have the Detroit Lions at the Houston Texans. So for the Lions, like I said in our earlier in the video, they traded for Zadarius Smith, and I really, really like that signing for them. In my opinion, it puts them over the top. if and when they can get Aiden Hutchinson back, this team is, I don't see flaws. I will not see flaws on this team. I think Sonic and Knuckles still need to get prioritized. I think this team definitely needs to prioritize running the ball. I think they are phenomenal at running the ball. I know they have a lot of great pieces to throw to as well, but I think running the ball should be the formula to success for this team, at least from what I'm able to see. And if they can get mistake-free Jared Goff and good O-line play like they have been getting, I'm not sure there's a team that can stop this team except the Chiefs. As for the Texans, I think CJ needs to wake the hell up. I think last year he was very, very good, and he was able to propel this team super, super far. But I'm just not seeing it this year. I'm not sure if he's just in a sophomore slump, or not having Nico Collins or Stephon Diggs is really hampering him that much. But in my opinion, you're the starting franchise quarterback for this team. You got to figure it out, man. You got to wake up, figure it out. They need to keep Joe Mixon involved. He ran for over 100 yards last week, and I don't know. It was kind of like a quiet 100 yards, in my opinion. I still think that the offense still needs to run through Joe Mixon, but CJ needs to make those plays. So we'll see. This team is still very injured. I still like this Texans team, but I got the Lions in this one. I don't like what the Texans are doing defensively, in my opinion, so I got the Lions 40. I got the Texans 24. Oof, this one might get ugly. And over to Monday Night Football, we have the Miami Dolphins at the LA Rams. So for the Dolphins, I've said it all year, you got to figure out ways to get Tyreek Hill to football. He is the best player on this team. You need to run jet sweeps. You need to get him the ball in screens. You need to figure out more ways to get Tyreek Hill involved. And also, Tyreek, when you get the ball, do something with it, man. There's certain times where he's faster than everybody. I just need him to go out and make a play or make an extra cut, get past somebody, and he just doesn't do it. And I'm not sure if he's like feels low or like his confidence has been shot a little bit, but it is what it is. I think Tyreek's still really, really good, and I think if they can get that play from him, I think this team has the potential to be par. I think it was a great Tua game last week, and I think they did enough to win. I think their defense just needs to get healthier, and I think they just got picked apart a little bit by Josh Allen. But I don't know. I think I still like the pieces on this team. I'm just not sure. And I hate to say it, I'm just not sure if their head coach is the guy to get them there. As for the Rams, Stafford needs to take care of the football. Like I say almost every single time that I talk about the Rams, there are 2 or 3 balls that Matthew Stafford will 1,000% throw to the defense every single time. And the defense has to prioritize picking those ones off because Stafford, he's a gunslinger. He 1,000% is a gunslinger, and he needs to just take care of the football and minimize those mistakes. I think their defense plays ferociously. I'm not sure if it was just because they went against my Seahawks last week and it was a rivalry game, but I think if this defense plays hungry like they did last week, and if they can get good defensive line production like they did against the trash can Seattle Seahawks offensive line, I think this team could be pretty good, and I think they can make the playoffs like I predicted that they would. So we'll see. We'll see what these Rams teams got. I think the offensive line just leaves a lot to be desired. I think Kyron Williams, I think he showed that I just don't think he is the long-term solution at running back for this team. But I think that might have just been because I think the offensive line needs a little bit of work. I still got the Rams winning this one. I expect this one to be a little high scoring. I got the Rams 30, Dolphins 28. So we will see. And that wraps it up for our Week 10 NFL predictions. What did you think? Any picks you agreed with? Any picks you disagreed with? Let me know in the comment section down below. Keep it friendly. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in Week 11.